You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
800 beer kind.
Only
dropping truth bombs all over your face. It's the Axetruth Show. Cutting through the bullshit.
What's up, everyone? Axel here of Axetruth.com, and this is where I cut through the bullshit. I gotta get a new knife. I'm gonna get a new knife so I can sling that back out here. I lost my knife. Anyway, all video, sound, and music used during this broadcast falls under fair use. Fair use is allowed for the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe on copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. All right, so Lori Lightfoot, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, did not get the hookup in Chicago. She didn't get the hookup. I wonder why they didn't hook her up like they hook everybody else up. You know, the Dianne Feinsteins, the Maxine Waters, and the Queen Kong, Sheila Jackson Lees, all them other ones that's been in office all these years. You know, why they didn't get the hookup? Why she didn't get the hookup in this election? So so she didn't get the hookup. She is the first mayor to not win re-election in 40 years in Chicago. So they have the Chicagoans have ousted Mayor Lightfoot, and for another Democrat with the same policies. Is anything gonna change? I think the next mayor may be able to do something, clean it up a little bit. I'm trying to think, who was that? Mayor Daley. I think that's who it was back in the 2000s, who was mayor when I went there, when I was in Chicago back then, Daley. And it was not as bad as it is now. It was definitely not like it is now. So, Mayor Lightfoot, she has been ousted, and you know, of course, she comes up with these crazy, you know, what the old black Democrat excuse when it comes to any criticism. If you criticize a black Democrat, you're racist. You know, if they lose, they lost because of racism and white supremacy and too many, you know, but this is a Democratic city. These are Democrat voters. Chicago haven't had I think they said they haven't had a Republican mayor in like 80 years. You know, it's a Democrat state. It's a blue state. So, and Mayor Lightfoot's record speaks for itself. You could clearly see, you know, from everything that has gone on, from the crime that's going on constantly there every weekend. When she comes out on the podium, she had so much to say about that fake false flag of these gays being shot at some club in Colorado, but yet she came out with all this emotion on that and talking about this has got to stop. But yet every day. Not just every weekend, every day and every weekend is a bloodbath in Chicago, and there are blacks being killed every day by gun violence. And she doesn't have that energy for that, but she has energy for the Colorado thing because it was some gays. But anyway, Tucker kind of like sums her up here in a way, and then I'm gonna give my commentary.
Chicago, a right-wing Donald Trump stronghold. Last night, the QAnon army came for Lori Lightfoot. Lightfoot, of course, is the mayor of Chicago and a consummate neoliberal. She's the one who prevented Chicago cops from chasing criminals on foot because chasing criminals is racist. She's the mayor who plunged Chicago even further into debt for a good cause to pay for the Department of Climate and Environmental Equity. And in fact, Lightfoot's commitment to equity was so profound that she banned white reporters from talking to her. She took down not one, but 2 statues of Christopher Columbus, who was a racist.
That's what she did while she was in office. Took down 2 statues of Christopher Columbus, but because Christopher Columbus is racist. That's what the black, check the box, black female, check the box, black lesbian, check the box. You know, because that's how you shines vote over there. You know, y'all vote based on identity, color, and all this other crap. That's what she did. So did you come up from that? Did you get a higher paycheck from that? Did you feel, did something, that's the kind of crap that these Democrats do for you shines, you race obsessed shines. Oh, we'll take down a statue, change a name over here, put a name of street after some black over there. That's what y'all power to the people rights out there in the street, put your arms up and raising hell for progress, and you won't change, and this is the change you get is a statue coming down because of some racism.
So you would think if anybody would be safe in Chicago, which is roughly 100% Democratic Party voters, it would be Lori Lightfoot. Oh, but no. According to Lori Lightfoot, the extreme MAGA Republicans, the ones who tried to bleach Jussie Smollett, activated their sleeper cells around the city, and they showed up at the polls en masse, which means lots of them at once. And the effect was to make Lori Lightfoot the first Chicago mayor in 40 years to lose re-election.
And according to the National Review here, the National Review, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot blames election loss on racism and sexism. Here it comes, the sexism, but this is a little bit, let's highlight her, a little bit from her concession speech here that she gave when she conceded to her loss.
Let me just do this. So thank you and thank everyone so much. I feel a lot of love in this room as I've felt every step of the way on this journey. I've called Brandon Johnson and Paul Vallis to congratulate them on their victories in advancing to the runoffs. We were fierce competitors in these last few months, but I will be rooting and praying for our next mayor to deliver for the people of the city for years to come. Thank you.
You hear that crowd, a bunch of white liberals clapping for her, and mammies, that's it. And alphabets, that's it. Where's this ground, where's her supporters at? Where's this, you know, if it was racism, sexism? They got to do with anything. These are your people voting, your crowd of people, the Democrats. So Democrats are racist and sexist? Okay, that's what it is, you know. Let's finish what else she has to say here.
Obviously, we didn't win the election today, but I stand here with my head held high and a heart full of gratitude. I'm grateful that we worked together to remove a record number of guns off our streets, reduced homicides, and started making real progress on public safety.
All cap, all lies. They reduced homicides? No, they didn't. Did they get guns off the street? No, they didn't. Democrats just, I mean, these Democrats, black Democrats, they just, not just black Democrats, but all Democrats, all they do is just lie. They lie about what their policies are doing. They lie about their progress. There is no progress. There's always regression. And then they go vote for that again. They vote for another Democrat to come in and do exactly what the last one did, if they clean up a small little thing, it's still going to be the other thing going on. So, the next mayor going to come in, and what probably he's going to do, he's going to make sure he get all that crime out of the north side and from the Mag Mile on up. He's going to probably have to clean, he's definitely going to have to clean all that up. So they're going to put a lot of police force and do all that. He's probably going to clean up those affluent areas where they need tourists to be safe at, and the white folks need to be safe on the north side. Now, as far as the south side go, the south side is going to be the south side. It's going to be shoot 'em up, kill 'em up, at 'em. It's going to be shoot 'em up, kill 'em up, violence, all that, just like it always has been. It's going to keep escalating. Ain't nothing going to change down there. That's just how it is. in black areas. Shout out to Scott Adams once again. The things that blacks want to they want to sit up here and skate around and pretend like that's racist if you call out and say, well, where the blacks are predominantly are in Chicago, which on the south side, there's where a lot of the violence and stuff is going on between the blacks and the Hispanics and everything like that. But let's get to the meat of Lori Lightfoot's claim of racism and sexism. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot attributed her election loss to racism and sexism in comments to reporters Tuesday night, glossing over the impact of violent crime, which was a surge in the Windy City during her tenure. Yeah, crime is at an all-time high under her. I mean, crime has always been bad there, but it's so high there that it has moved. Like I said, it's not concentrated in the areas where everyone knows where crime should be. It's then moved to the Mag Mile, down and moved it where Grant Park, the Loop, the Mag Mile, going on up into Lincoln Park, on up into Boys Town and all that. It's then moved up north and Lakeview and all that. It's then moved all over the place. So crime is everywhere, So Lightfoot failed to make the April runoff, losing to Paul Vallas and Brandon Johnson, who outflanked her from the right and left, respectively. Crime had become the leading issue in the election, leading Lightfoot to pivot towards supporting the police. She says, "I'm a black woman in America, of course." When they asked her about the race having, she's, "I'm a black woman, of course." That as Tucker said, in America, that's why she wasn't reelected. However, her opponent, Johnson, who is in the runoff, is black. So that kind of like cuts the race out, but then she can fall back on gender, and then she can go back to identity too if she wanted to say to check that box. Nevertheless, she called her time in Chicago's mayor as the honor of a lifetime. Yeah, it should have been an honor of a lifetime for her to hold that position, to be elected into that position, however she got into it. But she was a horrible and the worst mayor ever in history, probably in this country, next to Bill de Blasio. But I think, now we're going to have a runoff on the worst mayor between Bill de Blasio, Lori Lightfoot, and Mayor Watermelon Seed Adams up there in New York. So we're going to see of all those mayors, which one is who's going to top out, Regardless of tonight's outcome, we fought the right fight and we put the city on the better path. She hasn't put the city on anything. These people live in these Democrats, they live in a false reality. They talk in that false reality, and their constituents live in that false reality and vote under that false reality. She said, "I'm a black woman, let's not forget. Certain folks, frankly, don't support us in leadership roles." What in the hell is she talking about? Isn't the prosecutor for Chicago a black woman, Kim Fox, and she's terrible at that? Black women have leadership roles in this country, and they're all terrible. They're all terrible. Every black female holding a leadership position in this country, they're bad at what they do. My email is cutthebs32@gmail.com. If you can send me an email disputing that fact, tell me the black Democrat female that's in a leadership position that's successful, that's running that we can point to and say, look at this woman, this black woman, this black Democrat. Look how successful she is. See, when you start going to these race and gender and things like that, and you start pointing out these things, we need an example of, well, where is it where y'all are doing, these people are doing such great things because of they check the box status. In the interview with the New Yorker prior to the election, Lightfoot explained, "I am a black woman. Let's not forget, certain folks, frankly, don't support us in leadership. The same forces that didn't want Harold Washington to succeed, they're still here. She told one black audience, referring to the city's first black mayor. See, this is crazy how black people use. See, this is why the whole race argument, racism, and discrimination, why y'all can't never get any footing off that. You just me making shit up, lying about it, thinking you're entitled to something just because of the color of your skin or which sexual orientation you are. You know, Lori, you didn't get the hookup. They didn't do you like everybody else. They didn't give everybody, everybody else how the Democrats do whatever they do, how they hotsy-dotsy their elections. They didn't hook you up. You didn't get the hook up. They'll let this fall the way it's going to fall. And now you're out here crying about your check the box statuses. And that's why certain people didn't like you. But that's somehow you got in there with those, under those pretenses. Lightfoot is the first black woman and the first openly gay person to lead a the nation's third largest city. Didn't Houston have an openly gay mayor there? She was white. So there's a check the box one over there. See, I'm trying to understand what all that has to do with anything. She's carpet munching. So maybe you did, but maybe the only thing I can say is, Lori, you didn't munch the right carpet for this or enough to get the hookup, because you didn't get the hookup and now you are ousted. Now you got to go find something else to do, go work for CNN or MSDNC, get on there and start spouting, do something to keep yourself relevant, but you'll never be elected to anything ever again. It's over for you. But maybe you can just run for decorations and run to collect money like Stacey Abrams do. Run a campaign, a fake campaign that you're not going to win, and just launder in a lot of campaign cash so you can live off of it. You're going to do that kind of grift. Though I'm running for office shit. Do that grift. But put your comments below. Tell me what you think about Lori Lightfoot being ousted from her position, and then her claiming that it's about race and gender. I'm surprised she didn't say her orientation, to add that to it too. Why she lost. No, you lost because you was a horrible mayor. You had nothing to run on. You had nothing to point to and say, this is what I did good and great, and this is what I improved while I was mayor of Chicago. Maybe if Democrats held their officials, their politicians, to some type of standard to produce something, to produce evidence of them doing something that improved something under their tenure while they held a public office. Maybe if they voted for that instead of voting on things like skin color, sexual orientation, your feelings, all that. All of it is rooted in nothing. Instead, it's not based on policy and actual things that matter. And now, she's ousted by her own constituents for another Democrat, but nothing's going to change in Chicago. It may change a little bit for certain people, but it's not going to change for the Akata and the Shine. Put your comments below, share the video, subscribe to my channel, put if you like my content and commentary. You can also donate to my Cash App at CashAp $Axetruth, and or also click on the links below and buy any of my merchandise from my merch store on Teespring, and also at Rise International. Got stuck there. Have a great day and be blessed, everyone.